Welcome to a very special episode of the Comic Book Strategic Investment Podcast. I'm your weekend update host, Nico. You can check me out on comicbookinvest.com every Saturday with a weekend update. Today, we are incredibly grateful to be joined by our favorite podcasters, Pete and Abe from the Treasure Boys. I also have my friend Marco, who's kindly crossed over from the Tales from the Dark Side podcast to interrogate the Treasure Boys with me. Guys,
we're missing
how
Nathan.
Are you?
We're missing Nathan. Where's Nathan? Give it to us. Where's Nathan?
Oh, Nathan. Well, instead of talking about flipping comic books, he's out at McDonald's flipping burgers.
Hey, it's all right. You got to make the money so that you can buy the books, man. That's how it goes.
That's true. Yeah. So, guys, I've got so many questions. I was so excited that you were willing to join us today. For those who are unfamiliar with your YouTube channel, what I do is go on Google and search for Treasure Boys YouTube comic books, and it pops right up. But if you're watching this podcast, the link is in the description. We would ask that you take the time to subscribe, get alerts so that every single time the Treasure Boys drop new content, you're there to watch. Put the little bell on.
Ding it.
It is our favorite podcast, and I'll talk a little bit more about the underground support that you guys have on comicbookinvest.com. There legitimately is a groundswell of support for your YouTube channel. How did you guys get into comics?
Well, it started when I was a kid, and I had always loved Batman. Batman has always just stood out to me as just a great character, and I just was invested in, I wanted to see the great things about this character. And so I would read stories and watch movies and shows about Batman. And Batman's a big part of my childhood, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I'd say for me, it was I think more so from my dad and his love for comics. I'm not the strongest into the books like Abe and my dad are, but I like the movies and all that sort of stuff, but I kind of have a love for it, and I can see why it's so big. So
guys,
go ahead,
yeah,
Nico.
I'm sorry, please.
No, so one thing this is for us, me and Nico, and actually Sleepy kind of turned me and Nico onto you guys, because me and Nico and Sleepy about over a year ago, we were doing this little thing together, and he's like, well, you've seen these guys, right? They're the best thing out there on the internet. And of course, that's what everybody says about everything. And we turned it on, and we turned on early, because how long have you guys been doing the show now?
We started January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was February when we first started watching you. And since then, huge fans. It's funny. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but there definitely is comedy. Well, some of it is, obviously, if you watch the show. I'm not going to spoil what you guys do on some of your sticks and all, but it's very good. There's some great sticks that go on your show. You guys are really obviously above what we do over at our show, because we're just very mellow and plain. But the stuff you guys do over there, it has me rolling every single time. And I don't think there's one single person I've ever been like, everybody at the first time's like, wait, you're watching some kids. And now obviously, yeah, the age group changes in there, and some people are older, and it's been almost a year now with you guys going on, and somebody grew out this big mustache that they didn't currently have when we first started watching. But
how's it coming in? Wait, yeah. Oh no, you're talking. Okay.
Not you.
You're talking about Pete.
Yeah,
I misunderstood.
You still can't grow hair.
But
I mean, everything from the road trips you guys do, you guys cover it all, right? Like, so we get to see sometimes you guys doing your first unboxings. We get to see you guys doing like some road trips at points. We get to see you do some like reviews on movies. We know you're big into that. Like, there's a whole cross section of stuff you do. I just got to say, man, like, keep it up, keep it going. Nico, I don't know what your next question is, but can I ask about the table?
Please. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's pull up some pictures here of them actually in action. When I was talking about, so this is you guys, this is an unboxing. And the Nathan stick, Nathan's on the right. The Nathan stick is probably one of the ongoing running things besides another stick that we'll talk about later. That's just hilarious. I know he's not here, but can I ask really quickly, is it Fortnite? Is that what the whole thing is there? Is it Fortnite?
Yeah, either Fortnite or Destiny.
Okay. Yeah. Tell him when he gets home for flipping burgers. Hit me up. Maybe I'll get him on COD. We'll go. I'm really good. I snipe everything. I mean, I can make the 2-time look weak. So, but the one thing that really got me, which I thought was very interesting, is, and we kind of started off with the picture of what is that? The jackalope or whatever it is. But like, a lot of times when you guys are talking about your pickups here, if you look at the table in the background, there's like antique toys going on. I think at one point the big eye picture was in the background for Big Eyes.
Top shelf stuff.
Like it's like
stuff we find around the house. We're like, hey, this will be good. Let's put that there.
And it's all our moms that we put on here. And my mom just collects the weirdest things, and we just it's so hard to explain what it is. It's just so fun though. It's so fun.
She's got good taste.
No, she does. She absolutely has good taste. So like a lot of the stuff that I see in the background, just because of some of how my background was, so a lot like you guys, I think, and you can explain it to us, like, how does it work for you guys? I know you said you went out there, but you guys obviously are hunting. How's the hunting go for you? Like, you guys aren't going to the local LCS just alone, right? You're going, explain to us a little bit about how your traveling and day goes. Where do you guys go? Where do you find books, stuff like that?
I would say the big one is the flea market, right, Pete?
Yeah, our local flea market. They have a couple of people that sell a lot of books out there. So that's usually where we get all of our stuff from.
I mean, there are, of course, comic stores and all, but the flea market's pretty big for us, actually, because it's just, there's people who are like, 50 cents, and it's like a $50 book. So it's just, you can find crazy stuff at the flea market.
Yeah. So
is it like a whole family? So is it like a whole? I'm sorry. Is it like a whole family affair for you? Like your mom goes there and picks up stuff too, and your dad.
That's mostly where she gets all her fun stuff that you see on the table and all that. So
there was a set that you guys had put down on the table, and I'm sorry I didn't cut it out, but I looked at it and was like, oh, they're throwing around like $150 toy, and I don't think they quite. I think mom probably yelled at him in the background about that.
I don't think my mom was too happy about that episode.
Yeah. Okay. It's hilarious. Nico, what do you got? Give it to him. Sorry, okay. I just have it out there because I find it hilarious. Like, I just like the stuff, guys. When you watch these episodes, look at the table, look at what they're putting down there. In their comments, if you don't know what's on that table, ask them what's on the table and have their mom come on and explain it to you because it's great. It's great.
So the entire history of that one thing and just one comment.
So, who does the editing?
That's Dad.
My dad.
He's got a heck of a sense of humor. It's tremendous. Yeah, it's tremendous. Top shelf. We struggle with editing our own stuff, but what he's able to capture and piece together is just brilliant. Talk to us a little bit about your collecting habits. How do you guys kind of decipher what books you should be buying? I know that you also sell books. What books you should be selling? I often talk about comic book collecting as knowing when to be the buyer and when to be the seller. How do you kind of make up those determinations?
Well, I feel like we try to find, we don't really spend a ton of money on like a really big book and flip it for a lot more than that. We like to find like books for cheap that aren't worth like thousands just like books that are you find for cheap, but are actually worth a lot. That's kind of, I feel like that's what we look for a lot.
Okay, now I profess that is the only way to do comic books, and people get very angry with me. But I want you to know, it took me about 30 years to figure that out. I promise. I couldn't agree with your strategy more. I think it's brilliant. You've got one of those really smart books there on the table. I know that Marco was really excited to talk about this pick. Can you guys talk about how this all developed on the show and where you came up with it?
Okay. So I think my dad just found this, I don't know, like maybe 50 cents at the flea market. And he was like,
Yes,
I'll pick this up. I mean, he might have been buying a big lot of books or something. And he really didn't look at it. And he was like, I have an idea. So he just kind of stuck it in there. And Peter would get more mad and more mad every time he saw it every episode. So, and then we figured it out later on that it was actually a pretty valuable book. Yeah. And we
wait. So you're telling me, I always thought Abe the whole time he was the one that was sliding. You're telling me that your dad was sliding it in there the whole time, and then Pete. Oh, geez.
Yeah. So he's just kind of like, this would be kind of a good gag. What if we just absolutely destroyed this thing? And so that's what we've been doing. So
you threw it off the roof at one point, correct?
Yeah, we threw it off the roof. I ran it over with the car. I stabbed it with a knife. So just.
We were gonna shred it as the final one, but
it's going on pretty well. So I think we'll just continue going on, having fun with it. So,
are you guys familiar with the Angry Girlfriend book?
I don't think so. No,
I've heard the title before, but
Okay, Marco, do you want to kind of explain that one?
Yeah. So there's I don't like talking about. Because I actually knew the guy who had it. So there was a guy.
Oh no, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy. Oh, so he actually got what he deserved. So he had a rare ASM book, and I guess him and a young lady had a falling out. Hey, what's going on, Ty? I guess
very rare ASM book.
Yeah. And him and a young lady had a falling out, so she decided that she was going to write all over and express her opinion with black marker of what she felt of this guy. He actually got a little upset in some other groups and kind of went off. It eventually got sold to somebody, and it was like kind of like an urban myth for a while, but it actually started showing up at shows, and guys would buy it off other guys' walls, and then it got to be a mind of its own. Yeah,
serious cash.
Yeah, no. Well over what the book sells for at the time.
Like well over $1,000.
Oh god!
It was 15 and change. It went for.
Yeah. Okay. So it finally sold for like $1,500. My point was not to belabor that story, but to let you guys know that you may have the next girlfriend book there.
Ex-girlfriend book. Yeah.
The ex-girlfriend book, I should say. Yeah, I don't think either of them would be happy if I called it the girlfriend book. But the next ex-girlfriend book there, which is
actually
Treasure Boys Batman book.
Yeah, Nico, you bring it up, but it's actually that there's a very big discussion in low grade comics with the other Nico, the Nico that that Anna was talking about the other day in your group. That conversation came up there too. So no, it's funny. I think you guys got it. That stick is probably. Every single time
it's priceless.
We as soon as we saw the first one, because I think the first one, if I recall correctly, Pete saw it, took it out of his hand, and then launched it, right? And I think when we saw it, I was like, dude, did you just see what I think I just saw? And they were like, yeah. And then, but since then, in your defense, I think probably February or so was the first time you guys did some damage to that book. And I think since then, the price did at one point gain. The market went up a lot, and it's come back down a little bit. But
cars get blown up in major movies all the time. This was one heck of a prop. I kudos to the three of you for it. It's brilliant.
It is good. Yeah,
We love it.
Feel more and more bad when we destroy it even more. I'm gonna feel
but it could be the next girlfriend book. The ex-girlfriend book.
I mean, this part it's an integral part of the show. I mean, I think you got to keep it around for a little bit.
Absolutely.
So who is it? Was this your dad? Your dad did this?
Yeah. So that's my mom.
That's her mom.
Yeah. So she recently got a new phone, and then she just started messing around with the whole emoji thing. And then that was one of the things she did, and then we just threw it in the video. And it's like, this will be good.
This will be good.
And they still live in the same house, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, your dad's got some humor, but he gives it hard to her.
Our mom's great. We love
Is
our mom so much.
She seems great.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys got a great tight knit family over there, which also is kind of, it's kind of nice, man. I mean, I especially now when everybody, it is what it is, but there's so many people are so busy and everything else to see you guys all get together and do the same thing, and it's like a family affair when you guys shoot it, which is just fabulous. You guys it looks like you guys have tons of fun out there and everything like that. I do want to talk about one thing real quickly, Nico, if I could.
Please.
Okay.
I know what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I, as a fan of your guys' show, I was watching this episode, and for those people out there that haven't watched their latest unboxing episode of CGC, it's great. It really is good. I like your guys' stuff because there's actual true surprise. Sometimes you guys, like you described it earlier, you guys go in and you literally dig through boxes with a decent amount of knowledge, but you also are like, you have that feeling. You guys will have feelings on books every once in a while. And there's a book a couple of weeks ago, we do an edit show too on the dark side. A couple of weeks ago, we shot something called The Rule of Two. And we talked about a book and we showed some inside pages of this book. And then yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I watched your guys' show because you guys just released one yesterday, an unboxing yesterday. Mm-hmm. And in your unboxing, all of a sudden I saw this book.
Yeah.
And I was like,
wow.
This is, I mean, I know some people use the word ghost a lot. I'm not saying this is ghost, but I'm going to tell you what this book is. I'll tell you what this book is. That's a 2,500 sign print, numbered print, because each one of those books came with a COD on the back of them, and they're numbered. It's a gold foil. Dynamic did them. They've done a couple other different books. They did, I think, in the Star Wars, I think they did 15, which also has I can't remember. I think Dark Woman's in that one, whatever. Doesn't matter. But the book that you guys are showing here is number 1 from Jedi vs. Sith, which has Dark Bane and then another character, which is Rain as a girl. It's a weird thing. We go over it. We'll have that show up in a little bit. But there's 2 important Darths in that book. You guys, your dad had a great feeling with you guys. How I understand it, you guys were over at the flea market as you usually were, and you guys were like, "Man, I think this is really something." I think, and it is. You guys pulled out a book that you just don't find. You definitely don't find in the wild.
Let me explain how rare that book is in my region of the United States. I bought from the beginning of COVID until I sit here today, 7 short boxes of Star Wars comics, picking keys one after the next. I have 0 copies of that book that I was able to find. You did incredibly well.
Oh, well, they also got Nico 9.8.
It was
I know,
unbelievable.
I know whatever, but in the gold foiling and all. But there's 25 book. And by the way, that book is now, I know it's popular again. It's probably been popular 6-8 months now. But for a while there, those books were still being held on by Star Wars collectors. So to find something like that come out of a collection and still be a 9.8 is just, no. I mean, you guys got a winner there. You have a winner.
I think my dad said it could have changed. I don't know. But he said that was the first 9.8 he had ever seen in that book. That was the first 9.8 kids.
Wait, so you guys have the only 9.8 on the census?
Yeah, the only 9.8 on the census, yes. That's what I'm saying. 9.8. When I'm saying 9.8, I'm sorry, I should have stressed that a little bit more. When I'm saying that's a 9.8, I'm not saying that's a 9.8 just to say that's a 9.8. That's a 9.8 because there's not 9.8. there's not 9/8 in it. Like there just isn't a lot of 9/8 in that book. First off, very low print run. It wasn't like some of those books that came out at Dark Horse and they like did because anybody who knows about Dark Horse knows at the end they started doing those pallet sales where the numbers weren't in diamond or the crons, and they had to liquidate everything in the last month before it went over to Marvel. So like they did these pallet sales where you got a big discount, it was 8%. These books weren't part of those, so they weren't part of the extra numbers. They weren't part of that. They were a special print run. It was only, wow. I mean, and they were numbered. So they came with like a card, right? So your dad has a card. He has like a card. He has to. If he has the book, hopefully he has a card. There's a card in the back, and they'll tell you what number it was. A lot like people complain nowadays about variants not being numbered. These were actually numbered variants. So you know that there was only 2,500 on it. Like they were certified that way. Not something you see a lot in the market anymore. I know more people should do it. I know a lot of people complain about it, but like, but that's it. Like that's a book it's tough, man. And like, I know now every person that ever had one, we're going to see like 4 more of these pop up because 4 people probably have a 9/8. But like
again, with Star Wars books, and you know, I'm preaching to the choir when I talk to you, Marco. Star Wars collectors are not like modern comic collectors. Those books go into their private collection and they disappear. It's not like people are buying them and selling them. You know, like they trade hands all the time. It's an incredible book, guys. I'm just really happy for you. Well done.
That was you guys hit a home run in that book. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, we've had some good books come back from CDC, some really good books, but that one definitely was the one that we were like, wow, this is a 9/8. Because there was like, I think a spine tick or 2 on it, and it came back a 9/8. And we were just like, it was crazy. That's the best thing we got from CDC.
I can't believe it. Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy for you guys. That is like, you know, like I said, me and Nico and a couple guys, I know Jon Z just shouted out there in the chat. Like we've been huge fans of you guys since the beginning. We've seen some of the books, and I think a lot of us have been polling like every time you guys get a hit, which you have to remember a lot of the books that these guys are getting, they're doing the digging for, right? So you're going to get the $50 or $1 books out there. Eventually you're going to find them. And it's like great to see guys out there, especially like, I mean, hey, look, man, to me, I like it because it is for me, you know, always comic book digging and everything that's been either a family affair or like a family and friends affair where we get together, even though we haven't seen each other in a while, and do it. And to see these guys go out there with their dad and their mom and like pull books, but not just pull books, like have a gut feeling. This is going to be something. And they pull a book and they come out with a 9/8. And I think your dad, I'll be honest with you, I think your dad undervalued that book. I mean, I think, what did he say? $1,000?
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth way more than that. Don't let him sell that for $1,000.
That's not $1,000. If you want to sell for $1,000,
yeah, we got buyers for that for way more than $1,000. Yeah, sit on that sucker. Sit on it.
Well, not even. There just was like a rumor news about Bane coming. So that book's got, like I said, again, it's got Bane and got Rain in it, and then Rain ends up becoming his apprentice, and it's a whole big thing.
So you want to talk about the upside for that? In other words, the major Hollywood scoopers, and we can kind of talk about that. I want to ask you guys about all that sort of stuff, but you know, there's lots of Hollywood scoopers. I think some are using Wikipedia to do like what characters have to do with this, and they have no idea what they're doing. And then other people actually have contacts in Hollywood. We can talk privately about who's who, but my point is, one of the trusted ones, Daniel RPK, suggested that the character who appears first in that book, Darth Bane, right, is headed to Disney Plus in a major way. And I think that just means there's a ton of upside for that book in the future.
Did you see that? Did you see what he did? That's what I love about his show. You see the eyes pop. It's that good feeling again of
joy.
Like, we got it. We got it. I mean, that's what I love. I love it. Love it.
Actually, I'd heard nothing about it coming to Disney Plus, about a Darth Bane Disney Plus. So that's a keeper till that happens. Definitely.
Well, good. I'm glad we were able to be a little persuasive. So let's talk about how you guys get your news. Where do you go for comic book related news? Do you follow the television and movie related plots? I mean, What's sort of like your go-to for that kind of stuff?
So for me, I follow movies a ton because I'm just a huge fan of movies. And so whenever I see something that I think might help or something, I usually tell Abe or Dad or something about it. But that's usually where I get my info from, is from movie news or rumors or whatever it be. So
Mine's my dad. Honestly, he provides a lot of information about me, to me about comic books. So yeah, I thank him for that.
Do you guys have one of these?
Oh, that's the Spawn cover, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, those are sold out at Diamond, by the way, just to let you know. The hardcovers.
Yeah, so this is the Overstreet price guide, and it looks like this. This is not a good grading guide for hot modern comics, but it's a book that you might be interested in because it legitimately has every major comic book there, so you can you get articles in the front, and it's really been sort of the tried and true
Nico.
Yeah, the tried and true kind of hallmark resource for comic book collectors for the last 30 years or so. There was a guy by the name of Bob Overstreet who put together, some of the biggest and best minds in comics, and they started doing that. And then, in the 90s, it was Wizard Magazine. And then we've got comicbookinvest.com. That's we'll be running an article about the Treasure Boys YouTube show, I believe, here in the forthcoming week. But there's a ton of resources out there, and I just kind of wondered who was doing what and how you were thinking about that. I'm sure your dad's an incredible consumer of comic book related news, but this is kind of like a book you can study. And one of the things that I like to do is sort of be able to look and see, what key issues kind of pop. So I know that, for example, you just turn to a random page here that this particular issue is $25 as opposed to the rest of the run that's $6, $3, and it helps me identify key books that are central, and then gives you a short description of why they're keys.
So I think actually this will be a lot going back to your mom too with doing the collectibles and toys, and your mom and dad will probably talk about this. They used to put out like a Bonner's book, which is like he used to do all the antique collectible toys and everything like that. When I was a kid, yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so when I was a kid, and you guys have probably done the same thing, you open it up because it's got toys in it, and you're looking at all these old toys and everything.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So the Overstreet Guide's a similar thing. They'll highlight certain keys in that, and you'll see pictures of it, so you'll get just a memory of what's going on there. I think is what Nico's trying to tell you. But yeah, so you guys already kind of know what the situation is on that.
Okay.
Yeah, more as when I look closer at the cover, and I didn't see Spider-Man was on it, and yeah, I think my dad actually does have one of those. Yeah,
it's something neat to kind of flip through. I know it looks like you're reading a dictionary, but I promise it's more fun than that.
No, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like those Bonner collectible books where they'll show you each year. It's a different episode. They'll show you each year like the collectible that's in there. They'll do a top 5 list, top 10 list, and it's a really good resource. It's good to read when you're bored on the toilet or whatever when you're not in town. Speaking of that, what are you guys reading lately? What kind of got you going here?
Well, something that I read a little while back, and that stood out to me, and it's probably the best story I've ever read. It was Kingdom Come. That's just an amazing story. It just, I never really connected with Superman that much. I mean, I always enjoyed him, but that just really made me love Superman. And Batman was great in it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he had probably the coolest moment in the entire book. But it was just an amazing story. Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I don't have like the biggest collection out of like Abe and my dad, but the one that I read most, it was that little Spidey series that they did in like 2015, I think. I read that recently. It's pretty good. So
That's funny because I actually, I am hoping one day, I'm hoping the youngins will get into Superman one day because I'm sitting on some Superman stuff and I am hoping that he will, because, hey, tell us about this. Like, you are a movie fanatic, right? So, like, give us a little insight to what you think of the DC movies, right? Like, you've seen the Supermans, you've seen the Batmans. What's going on with? What's your opinion on them? Seriously.
Yeah, if you can kind of compare them to sort of the older movies, with the newer stuff, what do you like?
Well, if I think the DC movies that stand out really stand out, but the ones that don't they're pretty bad. Like Justice League. But movies like The Dark Knight, which is my favorite movie of all time, it's just so good. I don't even need everyone knows just how good The Dark Knight is. Of course, you got the whole trilogy of those movies. I love all of them. I really enjoyed Shazam. I really enjoyed that movie. That's whenever I'm bored, just pop in Shazam and all.
It was good.
It's so good.
Yeah. Now, did you go back and look at the old Superman movies?
I have not seen those. Those are the movies. Those are on my list of movies that I haven't seen. I don't know why I've never got around to them.
you need to watch it.
I think you need to watch them and do a review. I think you need to watch them. I'm waiting for your review now. I think you locked yourself into that.
Yeah, they're exceptional.
Well, don't tell him that. He might not think so. We want his opinion, not your opinion, George. Come on.
My childhood was Batman 1989. That's my childhood right there.
You can't go wrong with that movie. That is the joke. Like, I know, I get it. I'm gonna get killed for this. That's the Joker, and that's Batman. Like, I don't care what you say. That is who Batman is, and they should have kept it. They should have done all comics from that point forward on Batman like that. They should have done all. I mean, look, I don't know how. Have you guys ever watched the TV show before? What's his name? Where it's
Adam West.
The Adam West TV show.
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes of it. It's just.
Romero and that Joker's good. Like and West is okay. It's kind of a little hokey, so it's a different thing. I don't actually see that kind of as like the Batman style. But when you think about, like, I saw you guys' review. I like that you like 89. That's one of the Batman movies I still like. I know some people, because I'm reading the chat right now, will think that Dark Knight's the best, but I think you need to go back and give Keaton a try, because there is no Batman if there's not Keaton. That's it. The Penguin got a little bit crazy after that and stuff, but
it went a little off the rails. But those first two movies, they were really good.
They were.
Yeah, I don't want to gloss over your pick of Kingdom Come because I think that's just really a smart book to talk about. What a classic story. Love the Alex Ross art. I don't think it gets any better. Are you guys big Alex Ross fans?
He has some of the. I think he has some of the best, just the best art. It's just
really.
Even if you just don't feel like reading anything, you can just look at Alex Ross art, and it's really good.
Yeah, I see sometimes some of the covers my dad pulls from him, and then I don't know so much about him, but I'm like, that's a really nice looking cover right there. So
I think that's great to get the insight. I guess part of the questions we're asking this is because, we've been in it so long that we have certain maybe thoughts towards certain artists or stuff like that. But to see you guys get so excited over certain covers and certain artists that even you might not know who the artist is, or certain movies where, like, when you're saying you like the Keaton thing, like, hey, buddy, when I'm down there, we're hanging out because that's what we're going to watch because I like it. You know what I mean? But it's good to hear that this is still going on. And I think that's one of our larger fears in comics is that the next couple generations aren't going to like maybe so much what we like, what our nostalgia is. And it seems like you guys, honestly, it's not just because your dad implemented it to you, but that's something of your childhood. So it's going to continue on with the nostalgia. And in a lot in this comic, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of our buying and selling really has to do, we sell nostalgia. That's what we sell. I mean, I know some of the newer marketers speculating on what nostalgia is going to be, but it's all based off of nostalgia. It's all based off of like what you could have had or you did have as a kid. You know, I mean, that's really the basis of it. So it's good to hear that some of these shows and some of these books that you guys like are still books that me and George and some other people in the chat liked when they were younger or to this day still like, which is really cool.
Do you guys know what the first Alex Ross art in comics is?
No,
I have actually no idea.
It's this book right here.
oh, that's a good looking cover.
And you can find them in dollar bins, I promise.
Oh, they can find it.
I guarantee it.
I bet you
because you guys are beasts. I could show you an incredibly rare book and be like, yeah, I was able to put together a half a dozen of those over the last 2 months. Try again. But that one you'll still find out there. You know, they move for a little bit of money on eBay, but it's an underappreciated book, in my opinion, and one that I think may be near and dear to your hearts like it is to mine, just because you guys are Alex Ross fans. So can we talk about this, which is where you guys see comic books 10, 15 years from now? Because as Marco discussed before I butt in and change subjects, there's a lot of people who are just curious about whether or not young people will gravitate and cling to paper comic books in the way that the four of us do. 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, they're afraid that they may go the way of Nathan onto, PlayStation 5 or whatever. And, that maybe some of the beauty of print artwork and these incredible stories of heroism, the classic kind of stories that we all love, just won't be appreciated. Are you apprehensive about that at all? Or do you guys think that do your friends love comics?
No. There's not. I think it might go downhill, I guess, because I think there will always be comic books, but right now there really aren't any, I should say, Gen Z comic fans.
Okay, now to allay some of your fears, when I was your age, I too was a comic book sort of looking for enthusiast, and I caught a lot of flack for it. I went to a high school where there were 500 kids, and I felt like at times I was the only person that cared about comics. And my generation is now the generation that's spending all of their disposable income on comics. So don't give up the fight if you're smart and you don't do what I do. And you don't stop collecting, you don't, sort of give away your comics for next to nothing because you want to buy some shiny whatever. I think you'll really benefit from it down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think since everything's starting to move towards like a digital phase and all that, where everything's online and all that, like for me, I like having things as like the physical part of it, whether it be a comic book or a video game or whatever it be. I like having that physical thing of it.
Copy.
Yeah, physical copy of it. But I think as things are moving towards a digital phase where everything is just online and you only pay like a couple bucks for like a subscription or something, the paper stuff might drop. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
I don't think so. I think you might be right, but I think like listening to you guys talk, and Nico's kind of right at this. We've kind of been through it. Like we were through the ages when comic book stores first started opening up and then became card stores at one point where the comic book guys were downlooked. It was funny when I was married and my wife's maid of honor married another comic book guy, and she's like, this
Wow.
guy's got all these dolls and comic books in his house.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you've never been to Marco's second office, have you? I don't know my real name. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you've never been into the back office. And she's like, no, why? And she's like, oh, it's filled with all these boxes. I don't understand any of that nonsense. And like, that's kind of it. Like I hope you guys get the same thing, because you guys seem like you're on that curve and like it hits every once in a while, right? Like all these things are curves. If you look at baseball cards, if you look at collecting this, there'll always be collecting. And when you look at stuff like cars, like when me and Nico were younger, like the classic cars, especially I'm from the Motor City area. So that was,
yeah, they were cheap back in the day.
Yeah, but it was like everybody could do it and fix on it. Like that was like the big thing. 1,000 shows. There's 1,000 shows and stuff. And you see some of that money.
I wish I was a buyer.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you see the diversity of it going forward. And even though they now have got electric cars or something different, like you kind of still see there's a very expensive, because it becomes rare to get those cars. So the fewer people in it still have to have bigger money to get it. And I think you're going to see that in pop culture. These pop culture things, like one of my biggest scores ever wasn't because I was buying comic books. I was buying toys. I was buying Tin Toys and Marks. And it just so happened that it came out with in the group came out with a full run of showcases from 1 to 17, and like Brave and the Bold, number 1 to nothing, and and that's it. Like you see these things, and I bought it for Marks because Marks is expensive, but then hidden in those were all those books. And I think you're going to see that going forward. I think you guys are on the right track right now. Keep it going, keep paying attention, and one day you'll be buying. So my different cars, different eras, but you'll be buying expensive cars with what you guys have in comic books. So
yeah, no doubt about it.
I will. They might get a Prius or something. I don't know.
Hey, that's all right. Look, if I can't pay for the car in cash, I don't buy it. So I don't buy new cars.
That's funny. My buddy's wife just used his comic book money to parlay it into what's the Elon Musk cars? What's he make? What's it called?
Plus the Model S.
Yeah. They just got a Tesla. I was
Really?
with comic book money. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean,
well done.
Yeah, it's good. I love. That's what I like. I mean, honestly, again, I know I've said it 100 times, but that's what I love about your guys' show. With that feeling, unfortunately, and I talked to Nico about it before. I just showed a picture on the Tesla. Thank you, JJ. I just showed a picture on the Instagrams of it, and people are like, "Are those books real?" And it's like, yeah. And it's like, and Nico's seen them before, and a bunch of other people seen them in public, and it's like, but it doesn't give me like they're old to me, right? Like, so I don't have that joy where sometimes like in a box, like I'll have like a Thrawn Matina 9.8, which is it was a cheap book. I bought it for cover, but like gives me the same thrill you guys have where you're like, I bought this for 99 cents. Sure, it's not a 60-gram book, but like it's it's awesome finding just these.
Absolutely.
And it's not like we're trying to scratch off lottery tickets. It's just like we go back and do the research and we find these things like you guys did on the Jedi 1 dynamic cover. And now you get to hear, like when we told you guys about that book, the eyes on you guys like, oh, wow, this is so cool. Like, I love it, man. I just love it.
Talk to us about the Dollar Bin series that you guys did. So you started with $1. Can you kind of explain to people who, just to give them sort of a snapshot of what you're doing on the YouTube show? I don't want you to give away all the material because it's too good, but just a little snapshot of how you did it.
Well, we started with $1, and we got. I think it was. I don't even remember what the book was. It was, I think, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I think it was Birds of Prey.
It was Birds of Prey. Something. Maybe it might have been number 1. It was a long time ago, and we just kept on flipping and making more money with the money we were getting on books. And sometimes we couldn't find a $10 book, so we would get like 2 $5 books, or I don't know, 10 $1 books, and flip those. But it's something that I think we need to get back into doing, because we stopped, and we stopped the YouTube channel for a while. I don't really know why. We just we were losing, I guess, excitement about doing it. But I'm glad we were able to like get back into doing it. But that's something that we just keep on flipping it, and we wanted to see what we get at the end of the year, and I think we're gonna keep on doing it.
Well, I hope you guys know how much you are appreciated by people within the community. I mean, we absolutely love it. I describe myself and Marco and our buddy Sleepy, and my long lost friend, the Canadian who turned us all on to this, James Lamborghini, comic book aficionado from legitimately an international fan. Okay. We are super fans. Now, we've turned other people on to your show. Every writer at CBSI watches the show. Every person who's got a flip side show watches your show. They may not watch all of your shows, but they're there to explore. You guys are like you have this underground cult following within our community, and we're really excited to share what you're doing with other people because we think we think it's important.
Yeah, I will. Before they shut cons down, I was showing your guys' video, because I go to a lot of cons. I probably go to like 50 cons a year. I was literally showing people, dealers and other friends, and remember we were in Baltimore. I'm showing people videos of your show while we were there.
That's awesome.
I will say this though. I will say this though. I know you guys talked about burnout, about shooting burnout, and that happens on YouTube channels a lot.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You guys came back strong. You guys got a great show. Especially because you guys do pre-tape stuff. Like burnout happens all the time. You guys came back stronger than ever. I'm glad you guys came back. Thank you for coming back.
We're appreciative.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We really want to thank you guys, honestly, for the support you guys have given us and just everything you've done to help this channel grow. Really,
Pleasure is ours.
Thank you.
Hey, so are we going to see you both at cons? Is your dad maybe going to do like a road trip? Any shot of you coming up? You're in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we're in Tennessee.
Any shot of you guys going to Heroes in North Carolina? I mean, is that how far away is that?
Yeah,
I guess keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye out.
Because that's one of the major cons on the East Coast, and this year obviously it was canceled. But you guys would be like basically celebrities on the con floor.
Yeah. Hey, I think Lopez, I might see at C2E2. Hey, this is the thing. If you guys come into the Midwest, let me know. Hit me up. Oh, I shouldn't say this because people are watching. But we might be able, depending on what con it is, we might be able to get you vendor passes. So hit me up because I'd love to have you guys out there. I'd love to introduce you to some people. I'd love to have you guys on the floor for a little bit. And then if I'm in your guys' neck of the wood, I'll hit you up too, and we'll see what we can do for you guys. Yeah, look, it's hard sometimes. I think you guys' show, when you talked about burnout, one of the things is we do turn on your show when we get burnout because we get burnout too. And it's cool to see other people who are producing content. And as good as I mean, your guys, I know you think that your guys' quality of content is so good that it's great.
Absolutely.
I mean, the quality, it's better than the show that I do. I'll tell you that much. So
same.
Yeah. I mean, the quality of your guys' stuff is good. It's good to see guys out there doing it. It's like the joy just gets you going, man. It really does.
We really appreciate what you said about our content because I feel like the reason we stopped for a while is that I felt like we were getting a little repetitive and our content wasn't good enough. So it really, thank you, because that really uplifts me that you think our content is good.
Yeah, it's exceptional. So what books are you guys eyeing? You got one on the horizon? Is there something out there that you're like, I don't know if I can ever put together the cash for it. I've been thinking about maybe making some moves to try to do it down the road, but boy, it seems out of reach. What is that? Do you guys set goals for your collecting goals for yourself or?
Okay, well, this is one that I've wanted for a long time, and I would have to be a millionaire to get this one. This is, of course, any Batman fan's dream book, but Detective Comics number 27. Throwing a big one out there, but yeah.
Yeah, Smithsonian book. I like it. Go big or go home.
Exactly.
Any sort of mid-range goals?
Let's see. probably anything that involves racing because I'm a huge car enthusiast. So any racing comics or whatever I see, and I'm like, hey, that looks pretty cool, or like something like Speed Racer or something. I don't know. So
Or those Hot Wheel ones. They did some good Hot Wheel ones too.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what's your favorite car? Pete, tell us. What's going on with your cars? Talk about it a bit.
I am a lover of like all cars really, but my all-time dream favorite one is a 2012 Lamborghini Aventador LP 700 /4. That's my ultimate dream.
Get out of here. That's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Yeah. Hey, Pete, you ever think about doing the Lemons before? The Lemons racing, you hear of those?
I did hear of those, yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to do something like that. Just buy a cheap, clapped-out car and just race it for 24 hours straight. It looks so fun.
Yeah, not a big fan of cars. Not a car guy. I know that's anti-religious in Michigan, but I have done Lemons before because I got a bunch of brothers. I've got like 30 brothers, and one of them is into it. So I did the Lemons races. It's funny. Lopez is here out in Chicago. Jolie, Chicago before. Mm-hmm. It's an experience, man. It's great. I mean, you got to fix it as you go. It's
yeah.
If you ever come down to the South and do one of those, I'll let you know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Neil Adams Hot Wheels books, always a smart buy. Mm-hmm. Good taste. Good stuff. I like it. I am a speed racer guy myself. Not exactly sure if there are any, like the book for Speed Racer, but I will investigate that. I'll have an answer for you guys soon. I try to keep people here, kidnapped and held hostage only for an hour, so I don't want to keep you up too late. I appreciate you guys spending time with us. I know it's getting late on the East Coast. I'm old, so I'm usually in bed by 10. Forgive me for that. But before we go, guys, talk to us a little bit about the channel. Let people know how they can find you on YouTube, what kind of content you're thinking about doing. Give us, your sort of plug for our favorite YouTube channel, Treasure Boys.
Okay.
Hold on, time out real quickly. Okay. Don't just put in Treasure Boys. Put in Treasure Boy Comics because unfortunately, these guys have been so popular that now, what is this? Korean pop.
There's a K-pop band
K-pop, what they call them? These K-pop
they've absconded with their name.
So great. When we looked up Treasure Boys on YouTube, and that was the first thing that came up. We were like, "What?
This is nothing compared to what we did." It's just like
true, but it's unsettling that the K-pop brands would steal your guys' name. Right. So
I think we might. With them. I think we know a lawyer.
Yeah, I know an attorney. Wait,
we might have an attorney. There's a little bit of trademark fraud going on.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out whether or not we can get with the international court and try to mosey them off of YouTube.
All I will say is I think we might have angered the Twitter K-pop stands.
Okay.
So, but for our plug, we're Treasure Boys, of course. You already know that. But we're on YouTube. Just look up Treasure Boys. You scroll down, get past the K-pop, you'll find Treasure Boys. But yeah, just put in Treasure Boys Comics. We're on Twitter. No, not on Twitter. On Instagram at Treasure Boys 3. At Treasure Boys 3. And we just post. We do comics. I'd like to do movie reviews, and we're starting up video games. We're gonna be talking about video game stuff. So yeah, it's Treasure Boys.
Are you kidding me? This is why they're the best. They are on it. They're on every single topic that you want to be on. Guys, I see y'all in the chat. Michael, I see you. Great. He just subscribed. That's what I'm telling you. If you guys are not watching these guys, and it's amazing stuff. So it doesn't matter if you want like great content. It doesn't matter if you want to just see cool books. It does not matter. Movie reviews, right? It doesn't matter what you want. Whatever you want, they do on there. They do a great job of it. Now they're getting into video games. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Legitimately, I hope you guys understand that you give me hope for the future of America and for the future of the hobby that I love. Unquestionably, they are the next generation, the guys who will inherit the hobby that we all love. And if you're not supporting them already, please take the opportunity, subscribe to Treasure Boys on YouTube, follow them at Treasure Boys 3 on IG. Pete and Abe, thank you so much for everything, guys.
Thank you so much.